Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Magic the Gathering Universes Unbound, Universes Beyond, where if I help to read, The Lord of the Ring Tales of Middle-earth bundle. So, I did a previous video where I did, 4 set boosters and 1 draft booster. And then I really enjoyed it, so I really wanted to get one of these to do a big bundle pack. I could have probably just bought a bunch more packs individually, but I do like these big boosters. Now this is still officially sealed. Ooh, I haven't even opened it yet. Because this does always come with some extra neat. These are, I don't know what they call them now. I'm going to call it the Fat Pack, because that's what they used to be called back in the day. So you're going to get 20 traditional lands, 20 foil lands, because the lands on here are kind of neat, with different artworks. But I didn't get many in the packs. We have 8 of the set boosters, which I personally prefer over draft boosters. I like getting the art cards. I like getting cards that kind of theme together versus just getting random stuff. Although I definitely, if I go to a draft, I'll play a draft and pick up some extra cards. We also get 4 alt art traditional foil borderless Mount Doom scene cards. So that's going to be very interesting to see what those are. 2 reference cards, 1 oversized spin down life counter. I always like getting my extra D20s. And of course, a Lord of the Rings card box. I remember back in the day when these things the Fat Packs used to come with a book. I used to collect a lot of the books that way. And then eventually they got rid of the books. They started doing 2 boxes in every set. And then they got rid of that. So now we just get 1 box, which is fine, because I didn't need 1,000 boxes for every set. So here they have the Magic 5-prong logo in kind of like a Lord of the Rings Elvis style. We're going to open this up and just see what this is. There, of course, on the front we have Gollum versus Frodo for the Mount Doom. Oh, look, we have Sam there in the... Oop, I'm up too high. We have Sam. I'm going to get my camera to focus on this. We have... in the way. We have Sam there in the back. There we go. Awesome. So, alright. First thing we're going to get this little thing. My name is growing up. My name is growing all the time, and I've lived a very long time, so my name is like a story. Interesting. So it's is that Treebeard with Sam and Pippin? Not Sam. Merry and Pippin. And then on the back side we get this. Didn't specify who this is, but another Tree Ink, big art piece, which are always really cool to get just art pieces. Then we have the box, which of course has the One Ring being cast into the lava of Mount Doom. Lord of Rings Middle-earth. This is a cool box. And there's the other side. I did like the old ones when you got 2 of them, because then the boxes make like a picture on the top, which is also a really neat thing. So you had 2 of these stored next to each other on end. They would make like an image. Alright, let's pull this off. Let's see what we got in here. I'm going to back this up just a bit. So this is a new thing they started doing. Is we started getting these little tokens in here. I don't know what these are all for exactly, but we have 2 of those. We have 1 of her. I'm not 100%. We have some... Ooh, these are kind of neat. Ring tokens. These would be nice to mark your ring card. You get the little card. You can put the tracker on there. There's a Sauron. I'm assuming that's Sauron. And we have some... Oh, we have the evil version as well. That's pretty cool. And then on this side we have some 1/1 counters. It's a fun way to add just some like cheap counters. It's just a little regular cardboard. But they're definitely nice. Oh, why can't I think of her name? Is this the elf in white who gives all of the Fellowship their extra little items like oh crap. Oh, my brain cannot think of who that is, and it's gonna drive me nuts. Alright. Oh, Jesus, look at this guy. This is fantastical. This is why I love the D20s. And these are... My camera froze. There we go. I always loved the D20s because usually you just like look at regular D20s, but then they had like a special symbol on like the 20 die for whatever the set was. So this is actually cool because it's kind of like scroll on there, which is really neat. And this is a countdown, spin down counter. So it goes just to be the 20 side, which would be the set image. Probably looks like that actually. That direction is the ring. We're gonna count down 19, 18, 17, 16, all the way down to number 1. And that's to keep track of your life. This is pretty cool. This is really neat. I don't know if I would use this too often, just because it's kind of hard to like quickly look at and read what the number is. It also looks like there is kind of like some stuff inside too, which is really neat. That's actually pretty cool though. If I'm gonna get a neat guy. Alright, then we have 2 packs of lands and some extra cards, and then we have our set boosters. We're gonna have a bunch of those. Then also in the box, you're going to get this extra little holder in here. It's just kind of nice just to help divide your cards. You can put like a deck in there, and then you can have like your extra pack cards in here. So it's kind of a neat little extra divider that they started adding in these. I always just actually end up pulling lots of these out and use them for other games. So I can put like little tokens and stuff in there. And actually use these to store extra games and stuff too. One day I'll maybe show off my Magic collection. Alright, let's hop in and look at some cards. That's what we all came here for. So we're going to go through this land pack. Interesting, they're out using these instead of just like wrapping them. I think they're trying not to use plastic as much. But we're going to get all these beautiful artwork of all these lands. I'm going to try and get these so that they're not all glary. So there's our Plains cards. We're going to get some of the different Shire stuff. So I think we're going to get 2 different artworks for each. So there's the actual Shire. You can see like one of the little hobbit houses. And then we have some islands with some of the different streams. The swamps, probably over in Mordor. Most likely. 2 mountains. And then we have 2 forests. Cool. Alright, then we have 4 reference cards. Let's look at these reference cards. We just have reminder of how to play the game. I don't know the last time I've ever seen a reference card for Magic. I've just been playing it so long, I'm like, oh, it's how this works. Untap, draw a card, main phase, combat, main phase again, end turn. They're very simple ways to play it. Now, there's obviously little other steps you can put in there. Cast creatures and other spells. Declare attackers. Opponent declares blockers. Combat damage dealt. Play a land if you haven't. That's cool that they mentioned that. Cast creatures and spells. And creatures heal. That's very interesting they put that on there. Because it's just Magic. You just know that that's a thing. Either you kill them or you don't. But it's kind of cool that they put that on there. We flip it over. We have popular formats. We have standard. Construct your own deck of 60 cards in play. With certain sets. A booster draft, players open packs. You take the draft packs, not the set packs I have. Everyone basically has 3 packs. Booster drafts are really fun, honestly. Because what they're neat is they give you a strategical way. You have to figure out how to make a deck with a limited pool of cards. You pull them out. Each player has a pack. You take 1 card from a pack, and then you pass it around the table. And then each player does that until eventually everyone has 15 cards, because they'll have 1 card each. They'll have 15 cards total, and all of them packs will be gone. Then you open up pack 2. You do the same thing, but in reverse order. So as you go through the first one, you start off and you're like, oh, I have a plethora of 15 cards to choose from. Then when you get down to like card 7 or 8, you're starting to see like, oh, I had been choosing white. There are no white cards left. Other people are choosing white. I have to now pick another color to jump into. And you kind of gotta figure out what's the best way to go. So it's kind of a fun way to play a game. In Commander, each player chooses a legendary creature to be their commander and builds a 99 card deck. This is also a fun way because this lets you basically utilize your massive collection of cards. Because you can only have one of each card in your deck for 100 cards, essentially. But then you're building a giant deck so that it gets you away. In typical Magic, lots of people, like in Standard, lots of people will have 2, 3, 4 copies of the same cards so they can draw them more often. Commander forces you to think around that because now you have to have, oh, I really like this 1/1 white soldier card, but now I have to find, instead of having 4 copies of it, I have to find 3 other versions that work. Well, you might have this set that has one that's kind of similar, this one that has another, but maybe you have to take another set that's just a little bit harder. It again makes you rethink how you might regularly build your deck. Look at cards you might not normally have looked at because you have to fill up your deck. Definitely fun. How you cast spells. You have your mana. Converted mana cost is 4. It's all the 2 symbols plus the number. It's just kind of fun. Just kind of be going through this. This is kind of neat too. Attacking versus blocking. So if you're attacking, you must tap your creature to attack. You can attack players or planeswalkers, but not other creatures. So you are attacking the other opponent, and they decide if they want to block. And if we flip it over, it's just kind of a neat way to do that. You choose whether or not to block. Only untapped creatures can block. You don't have to tap with a creature to block them. So it's kind of fun. That's definitely a neat mechanic of Magic the Gathering, is the attacking and blocking. You're never forced into doing it. Now that could say you can choose to a Planeswalker, so I wonder if they changed that rule at some point. Because originally how that used to be was you attacked a player if the player... You chose to attack a player, and I believe it was then... once the attack was announced, if you were going to do damage to the player, you had the option of then instead choosing the Planeswalker. But maybe they changed it to now you have to choose one or the other. I'm not sure. So we have the foil lands. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're just foil versions of the lands we just saw. There's 2 of each. So I'm not going to spend everyone's time looking at the exact same land cards. We're going to drop those back in the box. But we do have these 4 really fun foil cards. So we have Frodo Sauron's Bane. Now, if you watched my first video, I had some of these cards, so I'm not going to reread all the cards I've already went through in the first video. If you want me to have you reread them to you, go back, check out the first video. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of skip through them. Then we have Samwise the Stout-Hearted. So a 2-cost white creature. So we already had that Frodo in the previous set, but with a different artwork. So you gotta look at that. So there's Samwise. Keep forgetting he's called Samwise, because you just used to hear him called Sam. Flash, when Samwise the Stout-Hearted enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield. Return it to your hand, and then the ring tempts you. Enter the battlefield. Choose 1 target permanent in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield. Okay, so it has to be something that was destroyed from the battlefield. Halfling Peasant. So how does that work with this card? Okay, so we're gonna reread this Frodo here quick. He's a 1-cost white, 1/2. So he has defense. Sam has attack. It's kind of interesting. But then he's a halfling citizen. You can spend a 2 white or 2 black or a combination. Is a citizen, he becomes a halfling scout with a base power of 2/3 and lifelink, so he gets stronger. And then if you spend 3 black, if he's a scout, he becomes a halfling rogue with whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game if the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game, otherwise the ring tempts you. So basically, if you can upgrade Frodo twice to make him a halfling scout, you just need to deal damage. But you have to find some way to have the ring tempt you. Sam will definitely help with that. Because at the end, this is then the ring tempts you. And then you get, you also bring cards back from your thing. And Flash, you can come out at any time. Then we have Gollum, the Patient Plotter. who's a halfling horror. And we have rare, common, or uncommon and uncommon, even though they have some alt art here. When Gollum, Patient Potter, leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Pay 1 black, sacrifice a creature, return Gollum from your graveyard to your hand, activate only as a sorcery. So this is kind of neat. Basically, he can die, and then tempts you, and then you can sacrifice another creature to keep bringing him back. And then we have the One Ring, which is a mythic rare. So that's cool. I get a guaranteed mythic rare by buying this, and it's the One Ring. Legendary artifact, indestructible. When the One Ring enters a battlefield, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until the end of your turn. So I just say if you cast it, so that means you have to pay it from your hand. If you have some other card that finds it and puts it into play, it doesn't count. But this is at the beginning of your next upkeep, you lose 1 life for each burden on the One Ring. So tap to put a burden counter on the One Ring, then draw a card for each burden counter on the One Ring. So basically, you can get good card advantage by taking life damage. So it's kind of an interesting idea. It's also interesting because it's just a legendary artifact and it's not an equipment. Like it would have been neat if they would have made it an equipment card and you put on a creature, and then it just says it deals 1 damage to that creature per every burden counter. Then that way, like, oh, if you threw it on a guy and then they die, you get extra card draws or something. Because maybe you still have it deal 1 damage to you, but it would have been neat if it would have been equipment. Because they could have killed Gollum over and over, right? But this is what's also neat, is this is a full art set, so it goes like that. They connect together. And let's see if I can get all 4 of these to lay down and make a full set. And then these 4 are supposed to go up here. And it's supposed to basically be, this is when Frodo threw the ringing, Gollum jumped in after it, and Samwise is up there behind Frodo. So this is kind of a neat little extra set. Usually these Fat Pack bundles don't do this. They don't have, they have usually an alt art card or a foil card, but having the fact you have a 4-1 with a guaranteed mythic rare, plus some memorable characters, this is definitely a cool extra buy. Awesome. That's what we have there. Alright, we're going to crack open our first pack. We'll leave Frodo up there for a minute while we crack this open. So, in the previous video, if you hadn't watched it, I'm not going to go through and spoil everything I got. But the main things I was getting in these sets were I had a set of Legolas and Gimli. So that was kind of cool. I had a combination between them. Otherwise, I got a lot of stuff that had to do with orcs. So I had a lot of stuff to make an orc deck. So we'll see if that trend continues in here or if I get something different. Alright, so we have this gentleman with the blade here, who I believe, I want to say, is this Aragorn? No, I am way off. This is Thirigin, the King of Rohan. Cool. Because again, they use the book versions or written versions of their characters instead of the movie versions. Alright, I'm going to see if I can redo this just so my cards stand better. There we go. Alright, that's our art card. First we got a land card. Now this is a foil land, which is fine. But I love these alt art lands. I wish that actually they would have given us these as land cards instead, where it has the actual like maps of the things. So here we have our end, we have Minithira, Eganlath, I'm gonna mess up Eisen? Is that down there? Bree and the Shire. So it's interesting that these are on the island card. But that makes sense, I guess, because there's the island, the Beglar Sea. Hitterlund, Gulf of Loon. Is that just say mountains? Yep, just Blue Mountains. Okay, I was gonna say you just label the map and say mountains. And then here we got Riverloon and Fordlands. I don't know most of these places. Other than the Shire and Bree. But yeah, I'm not super familiar with all the lore of Lord of the Rings. Alright, let's see what we got here. We're going to start with Mirkwood Bats. Awesome, a 4-cost black card, Bats. I love Bats. Flying whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. That's actually pretty fun. The enemy has many spies and many ways of hearing Gandalf. Alright, so what are we getting in here? We are getting flying cards. I love it. I have a bat deck. I have a bird deck. I love bird decks. So now I have the Ithilien Kingfisher. 3-cost 2/1 bird. Flying, when it dies, draw a card. After their reunion, the hobbits spent many days in Ithilien. The streams that flowed from the falls of Heening, Anningham, could be heard in the night as they rushed down through its rocky gates. I'm going to butcher names left and right. Correct me in the comments if you'd like to. I probably won't respond back to them because I know I'm going to butcher all these names. Because I've never heard most of these names. So I can't pronounce something I've never heard. We have the Gunling Surabane, a bird horror. That is crazy. Flying. When Gunling Surabane enters the battlefield, amass 2 orcs. Oh, sweet. So this even works with my orc deck. Was that Strider? It don't look like it. What's that, Strider? It don't look like a cloud. I don't know why Sam became Southern. But yeah, Amass is a pretty fun effect. Lets you create an army token that becomes a 2/2 creature. That's definitely cool. To follow that up, we're going to tie that in with Deceiver. Deceive the Messenger. Which is Gandalf and Saruman. Instant. Target creature gets -3 attack, and then we get Amass 1 orc. Tell Gandalf that he must seek my aid at once. Yeah, that's cool. We have a blue card that does Amass. Enkish Restorations. This is our first uncommon. Usually we get to the commons kind of have a theme. The uncommons start a different theme. So now we have some Ents. 3-cost instant. Sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Then put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. If you control a creature with a power 4 or greater, instead search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Welcome to the Treegarth of Orthanc. That's actually pretty cool. You sack a land to get 2. So it does 2 things, right? So, first of all, you're getting an extra land card out. So basically, you're paying 3 for a land. Unless you have a power 4 or greater, then you're actually getting you're getting 2 lands, which is 3 costs for 2 extra lands, and not a bad deal. And plus, since you sack it, you can actually tap this land and then sack it using this ability. So basically, you're not wasting it that turn anyhow. But it also does that things your deck out, right? Now you're pulling 2 extra cards out, or 3 extra cards. If you have some way of pulling land cards back out, that's even better. Awesome. So we're going to get a legendary creature right here. Quick Beam Upstart Ent, a 6-cost green treefolk. Whenever Quick Beam Upstart Ent or another treefolk enters the battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures gain 2/2 and gain trample till the end of turn. It's only a nickname, of course. They have called me that ever since I said yes to an Elder Ent before he had finished his question. Ha, that's funny. That's kind of cool. So he's a 5/6, so he definitely worked for that extra ability. Then we're going to get Landgrove, Horizon Witness, a bird noble. That's cool. So now we have another bird. High cost bird, 5-cost flying. Whenever 2 or more attacking creatures you control attack a player, target attacking creature without flying gains flying till the end of turn. Cool, so if you have 2 guys attack, he basically picks one up and carries them. He passed over Ungern and Goroth and saw all the land in ruin and tumult beneath him, and before him Mount Doom blazing, pouring out its fire. Neat. Then we're going to get a Bluebird as well. Meldor, Swift Savior. 4 cost, flying whenever Meldor Swift Savior deals combat damage to a player. Exile up to 1 target creature you own. Then return it to the battlefield under your control. Then we have need of speed greater than any wing, outmatching the wings of the Nazgul. So that's actually a really cool effect too. So you have the 1 when they attack, the white one, your extra character gets flying. This one, just when he does damage, you exile up to 1 target creature you control and return it. So basically, if they have a coming to play ability, you get to use it a second time. That's actually really fun. Alright, then we have our alt art card. We have a common, Pippin's Bravery. That's actually really cool, full art. You may sacrifice a food. Oh no. If you do, target creature gets +4/+4 till the end of the turn. Otherwise, it gets 2/2 till the end of the turn. So 1 for 2/2 is not bad. It's a giant, essentially a lesser giant growth, which is 3/3. But you get 4/4 if you sacrifice a food. Then we did have, what was one of our first cards we have? Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. So there's a little bit of synergy you could do there if you wanted to. We have our rare card. Shagart, the Loot Bearer. I've gotten 3 legendary creatures in this already. An Orc Soldier, red and black. Whenever Shagrat, Loot Bearer attacks, attach up to 1 target equipment to it. Then amass X Orc, where X is the number of equipment attached to him. What? Control of the equipment doesn't change. To amass Orc, X, put X +1 counters on any army you control is also an Orc. Crazy. So, attach up to 1 target. So he gets to attach equipment for free, and then you get to amass extra stuff. So if you play a bunch of equipment with this guy, he can get massive pretty quick. I don't know if I've even gotten any equipment. I think I got maybe 1 sword. Alright, then we have our foil card. Chance Mech Elves. He's got the foil cards and the rare cards don't always necessarily fit in with the rest of the theme. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on Chance Mech Elves. This ability triggers only once during each turn. It is said, go not to the elves for counsel, for they will say both no and yes. That's cool. So Legolas, one of the Legolas cards I have, I believe lets him scry every turn. So that definitely, or at least when it comes into play, he scries. So this could be very good with that. Then the last card we actually got in this is a throwback card. This is a Brightstone Ritual from the Onslaught set. 1 cost red. Add +1 to your mana pool for each goblin in play. Wizard spot over stone to exploit its power. Goblin spot over it because it was shiny. I love goblin cards. Yeah, so the throwback cards I think are a way for the Magic to kind of let you get older cards for newer players. Might entice them to go back and buy stuff. This is kind of an old border as well, which is very interesting. Plus, they also, I think, somewhat fit the theme of the set. So, like, there are goblins in the set, which I haven't gotten any yet, but they can definitely work with that. Alright. Let's hop into pack number 2. We'll drop that there. There is our artwork for pack number 2. That is a storm dragon of some sort, maybe? Let's see what we got there. Shadows of the Enemy. Neat. Alright, we do have I'm going to flip right to the last card. We got a treasure token. So this is like one of our token cards we did. So artifact tokens, so sacrifice. Tap to sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. So there are 12 tokens at least in this game. And on the back side it just says, count life, enter tournaments, and more. Magic the Gathering Companion. Cool, so if you want a little companion, I should take a look at that at some point. Alright, so I just wanted to kind of get that one out of the way. We have our land card, which is a swamp. So I think now I have 3 of these, but here we have Gorgorath, we have Mordor, Sea of Nurming, Nurnem, we have Nuring, Grith Ongle, Minas Morgul, Badriger. Of course, then we have the Blackgate and Mount Doom. I wonder if you have all 5 of these lands, if they're going to kind of form together to make the full map, or if there's going to be big chunks missing. I think probably chunks are going to be missing, so I think Middle-earth is pretty big. Alright. What do we got for this one? We have Birthday Escape. This is kind of neat. I don't know if you can really tell in the artwork, but there's a guy lifting out the tent, and then there's footprints, like, soaking into the ground. So this is, of course, Bilbo leaving. So it says, draw a card, the ring tempts you. As Bilbo finished his speech, he slipped the ring on his finger and was never seen by any hobbit in Hobbiton again. So that's kind of cool. Arwen's Gift. That's not who that is it? Was that Arwen who I was thinking of? Artwork doesn't look the same, but it could be different artwork. I don't think that's who I was thinking of. Here we have 4 costs. This spell costs 1 less to cast. If you control 2 or more legendary creatures, scry 2, then draw 2 cards. Wear this now in memory of Elfstone and Evingstar, whom with your life has been woven. I think I've had that one before. I know we've had the Hithling Knots, which lets you scry and draw a card, so those aren't bad. And we've had the Willow Winged. So these are basically cards that are going to let you scry, which are definitely not bad to have. Alright, our next set up was we have an uncommon. We have Frodo Baggins. So we have another one. I had this in the first video. Again, I don't know. I did not look this up. Is I don't know what the rules are between having multiple characters with the same names. Because, again, that's Frodo Baggins and this is Frodo Sauron's Bane. Technically, you should be able to have both of those creatures out because they're different named creatures. Planeswalkers follow the legendary rule because they kind of have like a little subbar. Legendary creatures, of course, can't have the same name, but does Frodo and Frodo make a different storyline? You'd say no, you can't. But magic-wise, you should be able to technically have them out because they don't have the exact same name. So that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, this is kind of cool. So then we also got, so here we have the regular version of Gollum, Patient Plotter. We just saw the alt art version, so there he is kind of hiding in the shadows. We also got the regular version of Samwise the Stout-Hearted. So he's holding up the, I can't think of what it is. There's a vial of light that he got from the elves, from Arwen. Plus, that looks like maybe that's Sting. You've hurt my master, you brute, and you'll pay for it. Does Gollum have a thing? They'll take it and steal my precious. Thieves, we hate them. So that's cool. That's cool that we got those 3 cards. That's pretty neat. Alright, then we have an alt art for the Durin Surveying. We already saw that card in the last pack, but that's cool. The alt art looks definitely awesome. Now there's Pippin's Bravery. Not getting a lot of new stuff in here, but that's alright. Our rare card for the set is we have Golem Dwarf Emissary. I think this is the first, other than Gimli, this is the first dwarf I've had. Dwarf Advisor. Whenever you cast a historic spell, create a treasure token. The ability triggers only once each turn. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. I love that they made that for the Dominaria set. Basically, historics are old things that would exist around, like spells or anything you cast, right? You cast magic, you cast instants, you cast sorcerers, you cast creatures, you cast enchantments. Lands aren't considered spells. So basically the stuff that aren't spells are now they're still spells, but now they're considered historic. Because they stick around. That's pretty cool. And then sacrifice a treasure. Go target creature until the end of your next turn. That creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. Oh, that's fun in multiplayer. That's cool. So now you cast a historic spell, create a token, and then now you can sacrifice some treasures. Then the last card we got is a foil alt art of Foray of Orcs. I love these full art cards. They're really cool. So mass 2 orcs. When you do Foray, it deals X damage to target creature the opponent controls, where X is the amassed army's power. And remember, every time you amass you amass something, whether it's an orc army or a mummy army or whatever. Whenever you make your new army, they add to the existing one. So if I already had an orc pile and I amassed 2, I would add a 2/2 counter to that, making it bigger and bigger. So eventually, so if I just play this card by itself, I would amass 2 orcs, and then when I do, it'll deal 2 damage, it'll deal 2 damage to a thing. So it's basically a burn spell. Creates a 2/2 token, and creates a 2 burn spell. But if I already had some other amass tokens out, this guy could be pretty nasty. For 4 costs. That's an uncommon too. Alright, pack number 3. Let's hop right into this. We have a bunch of horses. So there's probably these humans? I'm not sure who this is. Marshall's Anthem. So I'm not really sure who those are all supposed to be. We got a regular land card. Unfortunately, we didn't get a fun one. But let's look at what we get here. We have Bewitching Leechcraft. Yeah, that's cool. Enchantment Aura. Enchanted creature. When Bewitching Leechcraft enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature adds, if this creature was untapped during your untap step, remove a 1/1 counter from it instead. If you do, untap it. I love these. So I don't know if I put this in my deck. I have a cold deck, which all involves stuff with like forcing guys to be tapped and they stay tapped, for either like a turn or permanent. I try to keep it only cold stuff, but if I want to just keep with the ability, this would definitely be an awesome one. So it enters the battlefield. I tap a creature I played on. It says if this creature would untap during your untap step, remove a +1/+1 counter from it instead. If you do untap it, otherwise it doesn't untap. So if they don't have any counters on it, it doesn't untap. And it was kind of neat, because even if they had a 1/1 counter, they could untap it, but then if they tapped it again ever, it stays tapped unless they remove that counter. Another one. So that's actually a pretty cool card. Morgul Knife Wound. Enchantment Aura. Oh, so we're getting a bunch of enchantments. This is kind of cool. So this is kind of a neat other way to do these themes in here. Sometimes we had some where it was like, they were all birds. They were different colors. This is all different auras. Sometimes you get themed colors. Oh, I got a bunch of the Ents, which were all green. Or I did a bunch of Orc cards, which were all black or red. So sometimes you get color matching, sometimes you get theme matching. Enchanted creature gets -3 attack and has, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile this creature unless you pay 2 life. Frodo felt a pain like a dart of poisoned ice piercing his left shoulder. Oh, that's cool too. Basically your opponent either has to have a really weak creature, or maybe a creature with no attack, or they have to pay 2 life to keep it. And the thing is, why would they keep it if it has less attack? So it has to have a really good ability. So it should be a thing if like they have like a card that they're not going to probably attack with, if they're utilizing special abilities, they're gonna have to either keep paying 2 or sacrifice him. And again, you can also put in a big creature as well. That's kind of cool. Fog on the Barrows Down. Enchanted creature is a spirit and can't attack or block. You've had this one before too. It's basically a pacifism, which is really fun. To kind of go with that, we got a Soldier of the Grey Host. Spirit Soldier. Flash, flying. When Soldier of the Grey Host enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2 until the end of turn. Yeah, 2/2 for a flying card is not, for 4 costs isn't that great, but the fact that you can flash them in and give 2/2 to a target creature is very cool. The Dead Awakening. For the hour is come for the Oathbreakers. Melvin the Seer. Alright, we have Eagles of the North. We're going to get another flyer here. 6 costs. Lots of expensive birds in this set. When Eagles of the North enter the battlefield, creatures you control get +1, gain first strike till the end of turn, and plane cycling. 1. Pay 1 to discard this card, search your library for a planes card and reveal it. So that's actually really fun. This is an expensive card to get. It does have its uses, But if you did it early on, you can always just get rid of it for a plane. So that's not bad at all. Alright, we have a legendary elf. We need some more elves. We have Glorfindel, Dauntless Rescuer, Elf Noble. Whenever you scry, choose one, and Glorfindel gets +1/+1 till the end of turn. Cool, so every time you scry, which elves seem like they have a lot of scrying, must be blocked this turn if able, or can't be blocked by one or more creature each combat this turn. On Elf Lord's brow it sat wisdom, and in his hand was strength. So whenever you scry, choose one, and he gains 1/1 until the end of turn. He must be blocked, and can't be blocked by more than one creature. So what you want to do with this card is scry twice, because that makes him a 5/4 who must be blocked, but can't be blocked by more than one creature if you play 2 cards. That's pretty crazy. Alright, then we have Arwen Undamil, another elf noble. Whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and then now you can pay 6 to scry 2. She was called Undumil, for she was the even star of her people. So we had the other one, we had her spell, so now we actually have her. She's a 2-cost 2/2, but that's cool. She basically boosts the scrying, and that other guy gains extra scry as well. So you can scry, you have her out, now he gains a 1/1 for the turn, and now he gains a permanent 1/1 too. That's cool. Alright, then we have another one. We have Selborn the Wise, another elf noble. Whenever you attack with one or more elves, scry 1. Look at that. They're going to just scry with each other. Whenever you scry, he gets +1/+1 end of turn for each card looked at while scrying this way. Cool. So whenever him or one or more, whenever you attack with one or more elves, is scry. So then he gets +1/+1. But if you used her, she can scry too, then he gets an extra +2/+2. That's pretty fun. Awesome. We have an alt art for Faramir, the field commander. I love these alt art cards where it's kind of like the shadows. Legendary creature, human soldier. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Faramir, field commander, as your ring bearer, create a 1/1 white human token soldier. Interesting. So whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Faramir as your ring bearer, you create a 1/1 token. So as long as you don't give it to him, you create a token. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature would die, you get to draw a card. You gotta create these tokens, and if they sacrifice themselves, you can keep drawing cards. That's pretty cool. Alright, we got sagas. I love saga cards. The War of the Last Alliance. So search your library for a legendary creature, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. Cool, so the first 2 times you get legendary creatures. And then on 3 creatures you control gain double strike till the end of turn the ring tempts you. That's definitely fun. Alright, we got a foil version of Durlan Surbane Creban. Now we got all 3 of them. This is pretty fun. We have a Tempest card. Irites Meddling. When target spell is successfully cast, put an X delay counters on it. X cannot be 0. During each upkeep of that spell's caster, remove a delay counter from that spell. If the spell has no delay counters on it, resolve it. That's cool. So it's called an interrupt as opposed to an instant. That's what they used to be called back in the day. You pay X blue, so it's a counter spell, kind of. That's actually a really fun card. So you pay X amount so you can delay it X number of turns. So the more you can spend, the longer you can delay it. So yeah, your opponent wants to play anything, you just nope, and you turn around and you're like, instead of doing that, you can have it, but you have to set it aside, basically exiling it for the turn, and have to put delay counters on it. That's really cool. I wonder if the, can't think of what they're called, but they have the counters from Time Spiral that let you basically put cards out of play, but I wonder if those are called time counters and not delay counters. But that's actually a really cool card. Now, I don't know if that really has any direct effect to the game, or if that's just a way to add a cool card to the game. But that's definitely neat. Alright, up next we have... Is that Shelob the Spider? It is. Shelob, child of Ungoliant. So that's our big, giant, nasty spider. Alright, so as long as we have this is our token for the turn. We're going to look at the ring card. Check the other side quick. So the ring says, just as a reminder, as the ring tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring if you don't already have one. Then your emblem gains its next ability, and you choose a creature you control to become or remain your ring bearer. So every time the ring tempts you, you have the emblem. You pick someone to be the ring bearer. It says the ring can tempt you even if you don't control a creature. The ring can gain its abilities in order from top to bottom. Once it gains an ability, it has that ability for the rest of the game. Each time the ring tempts you, you must choose a creature. Creature if you control one. So like Farmir we had said, if you don't choose him, you could create another token. But if he's the only guy you have, then you're forced to choose him. Each player can only have one emblem named the ring and only one ring bearer at a time. But each player can technically have a ring. So if you're playing like a 4-player game, you can each have one. And then the top actually part of the card is serrated, so that pops off, so you can use that as your emblem. Then what the ring does is, as you're being tempted, you start out, the ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Whenever the ring bearer attacks, draw a card and discard a card. Whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices at the end of combat. And whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. So it's actually pretty powerful. Alright, then we have a Plains card. Let's jump right into our cards. Inherited Envelope, 3-cost artifact. When Inherited Envelope enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Tap deck 1 mana of any color. So 3 for any mana, pretty standard. Keep it safe. Keep it secret and keep it safe. So that's the envelope that had the ring in it. Interesting. Bombaldi's Song. 2-cost green card. Instant. Target creature control has +1/+1 and gains hexproof until the end of the turn the ring tempts you. A creature with hexproof can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls. Hey Dole, Mary Dole, Ring-a-dong-dillo, Ring-a-dong, Hop Along, Follow the Willow, Tom Bomb, Jolly Tom Tom, Bombadillo. Wow. That is definitely a song. Then we have Slip on the Ring. 2 costs. Exile a target creature you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control. The ring tempts you. How had it been on his finger? He wondered if the ring itself had not played a trick on him. So this is kind of interesting because I'm not really sure if I get the theming between this one and the envelope, being the ring. I'm not really sure what the Tom card in here has to do with it. But you gain, other than tempting you with the ring, maybe. And then we have another birthday exchange, which also kind of fits in with the theming of the ring. So, like, mechanically, I don't know if these cards are really tied together, other than the ring tempts you. Oh, sweet, we got the card that went with our full art card. Theoden, King of Rohan, red and white. Legendary human noble. Whenever Theoden or another human enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains double strike till the end of turn. Dark have been my dreams of late, but I feel new awakened. I only fear that I already have come too late, Gandalf. Oh boy, I cannot read today. So that's kind of cool. So we have a legendary creature. Then we get a legendary orc with Uglug of the White Hand. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a 1/1 countering Uglug of the White Hand. If that creature is a goblin or an orc, put 2 on him instead. I am Uglug, I command. I return to Isengard by the shortest road. So, yeah, there's really not a theming between these two. Other than being red, but he's red-black, he's red-white. We have another Gorbash of Minas Morgul, who we've had in the last one, which is an extra orc soldier. Legendary creature, though. So this is fun. We have a full art for Shire Sheriff. Halfling Soldier, Vigilance. When Shire Sheriff enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a token. When you do, exile target creature and opponent controls until Shire Sheriff leaves the battlefield. Oh, that's fun. You sacrifice your token, lots of food cards. This is awesome. Here's our rare card. We have the neat alt art, like the shadow art, with like the ring around it. For Sauron the Necromancer, a 5-cost Avatar Horror Menace, which means it can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures, and it's a 4/4. Whenever Sauron Necromancer attacks, exile target creature card from your graveyard. Create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 Black Wraith Menace. At the beginning of the end next step, exile that token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. Interesting. So whenever he attacks, you exile target creature. Now, it's interesting because you're making a copy of that, except it's a 3/3 Black Wraith with Menace. So does that override all their other abilities, or does it just give them Menace? So they keep all their other abilities. That's actually pretty crazy. If the idea is you're just exiling a card, create it. Exile target creature from your graveyard. Tap is attacking a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3. It's weird it just says it's a copy of that card, except it changes its type, and unless it's a Black Wraith with Menace. So, like, if I, let's just say, for example, like, exile this guy, I wonder if he's now a Black 3/3 Halfling Soldier Wraith, or if Wraith just takes over his thing. And it just has Menace if he still keeps Vigilance and his ability. If he keeps his ability and Vigilance and Menace, it's actually pretty powerful. Even if it overrides the rest of his stuff. That's pretty cool, though. Gives him a reason to stay Ring Bearer. Like, Fromir doesn't want to be Ring Bearer, Sauron wants to be. We have another saga here. The one ring to rule them all. The ring tempts you, and then each player mills cards equal to Ring Bearer's power. Destroy all non-legendary creatures. Remember, whoever is a Ring Bearer is now legendary. And then each opponent loses 1 life for each creature that is in that player's graveyard. That's pretty cool. Alright, then we have a foil here. We have the Fires of Orthanc. Sorcery, it says, destroy target artifact or land creature without flying can't block this turn. A barricade was staggered by a thunderbolt. Alright, we have 4 more packs to go. This is going to be a long video, but we're just going to do it all in one shot. Either you're going to watch all of it, or you're going to have given up already. Alright, what do we have for our artwork card? We have Lighting of the Torches. I don't know what it's called, but that's definitely what it is. It is Call for Aid. They're waiting for the torch. Is it the Torches of Gondor? So there is a swamp. Is that the same artwork as the other swamp cards? Yes, I just didn't recognize that one. Alright. Escape from Orphic. Oh, I thought maybe was it a C on that card? It was. I thought it was an E. Orthink. Weird. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying until the end of your turn. Untap it. How far can you bear me? Asked Dango. Many leagues, says Gwolorth, but not to the ends of the earth. I was sent to bear tidings, not burdens. Interesting. So that's kind of cool. So target creature gains some extra defense and flying, and you untap it. Oh look, we're getting more cards. The combination is the isolation of Orthinks. We're getting the cycle of these. Oh, is that just the giant orb? I see. Where Gandalf died from he didn't die from there. It's when he was, Saruman threw him off the tower. Target creature in the owner's library, second from the top. That's a cool rejection spell. They took me and sent me on a pinnacle of that. I'm just gonna stop saying that names. I keep butchering. I stood alone on an island in the clouds, and I had no chance of escape, and my days were bitter and cold. Interesting. Because then we have the fire, which we just saw. Alright, our next step, we have another red. We have cast into the fire. So that's kind of cool. There's the ring being destroyed, there's Gollum, and then there's Frodo being taken away by the eagles. Kind of a nice summary of that. Choose one. Cast into the fire deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures or exile target artifact. Exiling artifact, that's pretty cool. But for Gollum, I could not have destroyed the ring. So let us forgive him, for the quest is achieved, and now all is over. Interesting. Smite the Deathless. Oh, they're killing Sauron. No living man am I. That probably should be a woman's voice. Smite the Deathless deals 3 damage to target creature. That creature loses indestructible until the end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile instead. That is cool. I don't know many cards that get around indestructible. Because you can deal damage to an indestructible creature. That's fine. They just don't, at the end of the turn, they just don't die. But that gets rid of it. And then if they would die, you exile them. That's even crazier. Alright, that's awesome. And then we have a new saga. We have Tales of Trinival. Target creature you control gains indestructible for as long as you control her. That's funny. We have a card that gets rid of indestructible, and then we have a card that gives indestructible. Target creature. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, and up to 2 target creatures you control each gain lifelink until the end of turn. That's actually really fun. Alright. Then we have Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, legendary creature and avatar. Now, I believe there's a Gandalf in at least 4 of the 5 colors. There might not be a black one, which I thought was a really cool idea. Flash may cast sorcerer's spells as if they flash. That's awesome. That's definitely a wizard ability. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, Friend of the Shire as your ring bearer, draw a card. So cool. So again, if he's not the ring bearer, you gain bonuses. So it's kind of a neat concept. Like, you have a lot of stuff that does it tempting, and you gain bonuses from being tempted. But you have some of the more powerful characters like Faramir and Gandalf who don't want the ring. They're like, I don't want to be tempted by it. So you gain bonuses by not having them being tempted, not giving them the ring. Versus like Sauron, who obviously gained bonuses from that. After 100 years, hobbits still surprise you in a pinch. That's my terrible Ian McKellen voice. Alright. Then we have Gift of the Strands. Oh, sweet. So this is when they're giving out the gifts to everybody. And Gimli gets 3 strands of hair. There's a whole backstory about this. None had ever made me request so bold and yet so courageous. Galadriel. That's who I bet you this is. That's Galadriel. I'm assuming. That's who I was thinking it was. Yeah, she gives out all the gifts. And yeah, he gets 3 hairs. It's a whole big, interesting story. Cause it was, I think like him and another dwarf. And I'm gonna butcher this story, but if I remember it correctly, it was something like, basically like Gimli's worthless. Ever he would never get like, and the guy kept asking for one hair from Galadriel, and she would never give it to him. And Gimli didn't even ask for anything, and he gets 3. So it's kind of like, ha. And there's other meaning for what the 3 means, but that's actually pretty cool that they put this in there. Flash, enchant creature, when gift of strength is available, scry 2. Enchanted creature gets 3/3. This also works really well because the elves, which again was kind of like hanging out with Legolas, scrying is really helpful for them, but it also gives Gimli the 3/3. That's kind of cool. Alright, we have a full artwork for the Lash of the Balrog. Sorcery, an additional cost to play this spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 4. So it's 1 sacrifice a creature, or it's 5 cost, destroy target creature. That's actually kind of a fun way to have a straight up destroy spell. Either really cheap at a cost of something, or really expensive. That's neat. We have a rare card. We have Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Legendary creature. There's our little hobbits back there. Vigilance. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. Interesting. Sacrifice Boromir, Warden of the Tower. Creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of your turn. The ring tempts you. Farewell, Aragorn. Go to Minas Tirith and save my people. Cool, so he sacrifices himself to basically let the other guys escape by making them indestructible. And he can also counter free spells. That's actually pretty neat. I don't know how often people are doing that, but that's still cool. We have Voracious Felbeast, who's a Drake Beast. Flying, whenever Voracious Felbeast enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a food token for each creature sacrificed this way. That's fun. And our last card is a Spirit card. It's just Spirit token. Spirit flying 1/1. Haven't seen anything I think that creates that yet. Alright, next pack. What do we got? Oh, it looks like we got a Bilbo card here. So we flip that over. Bilbo, Retired Burglar. So there's our Bilbo card. We got a land. We got a foil version of the red one, which has Rohan, the White Mountains, Helm's Deep, Isengard, Vanguard Forest, the Wold, Ealing Mull, Nindelf, Durian Forest, the Minas Tirith, Pelgar, Anglum River, Mouth of Anglum, Dulth Amor, the Bay of Belfast, and Gondor. Cool. I'll have to take a look at all of them at the end. We have Grey Haven's Navigators. We've seen that in the last one. Elf Pilot, which is really cool. Get some more blue elves. I love this. Elves in different colors. We've had elves that finally appeared in black. Now we get some blue elves. I love when creatures appear outside their normal race, or not normal race, normal color, because it helps you make some interesting decks. So you have Nimrodal Watcher, Elf Skill. Whenever you scry, Nimrodal Watcher gets +1 attack until the end of your turn and can't be blocked this turn. The ability triggers only once each turn. So it becomes a 3 unblockable. That's cool. Whenever there are some of us who go abroad for the gathering of news and the watching of our enemies, Helgar. Ooh, we can get a black elf in here too. Haunt of the Dead Marshes, a nightmare elf. 1 cost, 1/1. When Haunt of the Dead Marshes enters the battlefield, scry 1. Pay 3 to return Haunt of the Dead Marshes from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Activate only if you control a legendary creature. You should not look when the candles are lit. Gollum. Interesting. That's actually cool. A self-resurrecting 1/1 elf. I mean, it costs 3 to resurrect, but still, whenever he enters, you get a scry. So it triggers all your other elf abilities. There's Chance Mech Elves, which you've seen before. The Mirror of Galadriel. 2 cost legendary artifact. pay 5 to scry 1, then draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Sweet, so if you had 5, you basically make this a free scry and draw a card every turn. Your quest stands upon the edge of the knife, stray a little and it will fail. To the ruin of all, yet hope remains while all the company is true. That's awesome. Alright, so we got Legolas here. We've seen him before, but he's worth looking at again, because he's a green-blue elf. So we saw them other blue elves. Reach, whenever you scry Legolas, counter kills is tapped. You may untap it, do this only once per each turn. All these other creatures have scry abilities. And it says, whenever a creature your opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on Legolas. To say Legolas, I make my tail 20 at least. No, that's definitely awesome, because he's a 2/3. Basically, you attack, you kill something. Now he's a 3/4. And if you scry, you can untap him so that you can get ready to block the next turn. That's awesome. Which might kill something when he blocks, right? Friendly Rivalry. So we've seen this one before. This is the Legolas Gimli card together. Target creature controlling up to one other legendary creature. Each deal damage equal to their power to target creature you don't control. 42, Master Legolas. We have the alt art for Legolas Conquerors of Kills, which is sweet. It's the same one we just saw, just the alt art with the neat border. Our mythic rare card, look at that, even has a different picture on there. So that has like the ring. This one has like a shield with a ring in it. That's crazy. I don't know what that's about. But we have Saruman the White Hand, who's a 4-cost, 1 blue, red, and black legendary creature Avatar Wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass Orcs X for X of that spell's mana value. Oh, crazy. Goblins and Orcs you control have Ward 2. I believe Ward means your opponent has to pay that amount to be able to target them. So they basically give you a protection. Over all his works, the dark smoke wrapped itself around the sides of Orraith. That's crazy, right? That's actually a really cool card. You cast non-creature spells, you're going to keep making more and more orcs. So we got that weird mythic with that symbol. Then we followed up by, we're going to get another mythic. So I pulled 2 mythics on this set. Watcher in the Water. Is this the one that's outside the door? When they have to enter the door in the Mines of Moria, I believe. I could be wrong. 5-cost Kraken. 9/9. The Watcher in the Water enters the battlefield tapped with 9 stun counters on it. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 instead. Whenever you draw a draw a card during your opponent's turn, create a 1/1 blue tentacle token. Whenever a tentacle dies, untap up to 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter on up to 1 target non-land permanent. She enters the battlefield with 9 stun counters. If a permanent of the stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 stun counter from it. So whenever you draw a blue card during it, I don't know why I keep saying blue. Whenever you draw a card during your opponent's turn, create a blue 1/1 tentacle creature. Okay, so if you draw cards during your opponent, you gotta create tentacles. They pop out. Whenever a tentacle you control dies, untap up to 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter up to 1 target non-land permanent. So basically, if your permanent stun counter become untapped, remove 1 from it. So basically, I'm believing how stun works. Is he comes into play tapped with 9 counters on him. So you have to draw and basically place his tentacles out, and then as your tentacles die, you are untapping him, which you just remove stun counters. You're also putting those stun counters on other players. So he kind of works like Dweller in the Deep, like way back in the day, who was a 10/10 or a 2020 indestructible creature, but he came with delay counters, and you had to spend so many turns getting rid of them. This kind of works the same way. That's kind of interesting. I have a foil version of this card. And then our last card is, I don't remember what set this is from. It's a Neo Kamigawa. The new Kamigawa. Blossom Prancer. So it's an older card being reprinted. Read from Blossom Prancer enters the battlefield with the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or enchantment from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom in any order. If you didn't put a card in your hand this way, you gain 4 life. That's kind of cool. This actually works very nice as Scry if you think about it. With your top 5 of your cards, you may reveal a card, put them there. You may put a creature or tile in the rest of your hand, put the rest of it. So if you scryed a bunch, you saw what you had, you could sort your deck out. Okay, I know what my cards are coming. You could get rid of them. You didn't like them, you could always then get rid of them. Or you could see what's coming up next, get rid of it, and then scry later. Interesting. Alright, yeah, we pulled 2 mythics. I'm gonna have to look to see what that symbol means. Awesome, so we got a signed art card. I got a couple of these now. I don't know how much rarer these are than the rest, or if every single one has an alt signed. But that's still crazy, right? This is Emor of the Rider Mark. So it's crazy. There's 81 cards. If each one could also have an alt signed one, that's nuts, right? Of how many there could be. Then we just got a regular land card. Alright, then let's jump in. So we got Hobbit Sting. 2 cost white. Sting goes X damage to target creature, where X is the number of creatures you control plus the number of food you control. 1 for the Shire, cried Aragorn. The Hobbit's bite is deep. You have a good blade, Frodo, son of Drogo. That's cool. So you have Sting. But it's not the artifact, which I'm really hoping is in this set. We have Pippin's Bravery. You may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets 4/4 till the end of your turn. Otherwise, creature gets 2/2 till the end of your turn. So you've seen this card like 3 times with the alt art. Let's see if I can find that. No, I don't know where it's at. Yeah, so we've had this version, which is really cool, I think, almost compared to that. So we've seen that like 3 times. Here we have Many Partings. So 1 cost green. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand. Then shuffle. Create a food token. So this Hobbits use a lot of food tokens. They just sacrifice and they do extra stuff. For all you in the lands of the west, there will be a welcome, dearest friends. That's cool. Alright, so we're going to get some orc cards. We have 4 of the orcs. I know some of these are kind of hard to see. There we go. That's a little bit better. Probably should have done that, more than 3/4 of the way through the video. Amass 2 orcs. When you do 4/8, it deals X damage to target creature, where X is the amassed orc's power. So that's really fun. Then we have March of the Black Gate. Whenever March of the Black Gate enters the battlefield, whenever an army you control attacks, amass 1 orc. So this again works very well with that. I think we've seen all of these in the previous video. Gorgmorth, Morg Lieutenant. Enter the battlefield, amass 1 orc. Creature tokens you control have Death Touch. So basically the other 2 cards built up our orcs, gave them extra abilities, and this guy gives them all Death Touch. And then we have Marher, the Urka High Captain, Orc Soldier Menace. If 1 or more 1/1 counters would be put on an army, goblin, or orc you control, that many +1 counters are put on instead. That's actually very cool to go with them. Every time now you beef up your orcs, they gain extra counter. I haven't seen any goblins related in this set though, so I wonder if they just put goblins for the sake of combining with other sets. We are the servants of Saruman the Wise, the White Hand, the hand that gave us man's flesh to eat. That's cool. Alright, then we got another Shire Sheriff alt art. We have Elrond, Master of Healing. So we get another neat Shadow Art card. Elf Noble. Whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on each of X target creatures, where X is the number of cards looked at with scrying this way. Whenever a creature you control with +1/+1 counters that becomes a target of a spell or an ability the opponent controls, you may draw a card. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability and opponent controls, you may draw a card. Cool. So you're going to get a scry, see what's coming, and then you get an option of potentially drawing more cards. That's really neat. We have a legendary land here, another rare card. A Barad-dûr enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Tapped for a black. Definitely not a bad thing there. But pay XX to amass an orc. Activate only if a creature died this turn. So that's actually pretty cool. If someone died, you can then pay XX to activate, amass more orcs. So if you paid 1/1, you get to amass. You have to pay 1 for each, and you get to activate 1 orc. It gets really expensive, because if you wanted to do, let's say 5, you have to pay 10. 11. You have to pay 5x, 5x, and then 1. So it's not super cheap, but even if you paid 1 just to start your orcs out, it gets you amass an orc. And you can amass an orc every turn for basically paying 3 mana. Those who pass the gates of Barad-dûr do not return. Awesome, cool. So we have a foil rare here. We have Samwise Gamgee. We have another Samwise. Now we have a regular kind of version. We have green-white. Halfling Peasant. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. Sacrifice 3 foods. Return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. That's really neat. Samwise has this really neat abilities to return cards from the graveyard to pull what you need. So he's not worried about sacrifice and stuff. And then this actually works really nice with the other hobbits creating food like the earlier ones we saw. Then our last card is another throwback card for Magic Set 10, Core Set 10, Colossus of Sardia. Artifact creature golem who's a 9-cost 9/9 creature. So this guy can fight with our Kraken we got. Trample. And then Colossus of Sardia doesn't untap during your untap step. Pay 9 to untap and play this only during your upkeep. Basically, it comes out, he does this trampling once, and you have to pay 9, essentially recasting him every time. Not necessarily the best card, but still pretty interesting. Yeah, maybe if nothing else, you throw him out there, and you just have him kind of hang out and block, right? For 9, it's not bad. Alright, last pack, and then we are done with this video. We are going to have this, Sauron with the One Ring. The Sol Ring. Oh, they reprint Sol Ring? That's cool. Alright, then we got our land. We have the Plains. We have the Shire, Brackenbors, Hobbiton, Weymouth, Bywater, Froggenort, White Raven, Bugging Ford, the Brandywine River, the Brandywine Bridge, Buckland, Buckberry Ferry, Greenhill Country, Tuckborough, Wiltonburg, and Longbottom. So I think we have all 5 lands now. I'll have to take a look at the end. Alright, so we're going to start there. We have the Escape, we got another copy of Isolation, and we have another copy of Fire. So I can kind of see now, I've gotten these 3 in a row. I've gotten some Orcs in the last pack, I had another one. This is sort of the downside, to an extent, of getting set packs, is because they put these sort of themed cards, couple 3 or 4 cards together. So you might eventually just start getting the same ones repeatedly, over and over, if you get too many of these packs. Versus a draft pack, where you're probably not going to get lots of the same cards over and over unless you just did a crappy pack. But again, the other side would be, now I have 2 copies of each of these, so if I want to make a deck, I have a better chance of doing that. Although I could have bought 12 draft packs, I never might have gotten the same card twice, which then means it's harder to make a straight deck. Alright, we have Barterburr Bree Innkeeper, Human Peasant, At the beginning of your end step, if you don't control a food token, create a food token. That's cool. I hope you'll be comfortable. You'll be wanting supper. I don't doubt. As soon may be this way now. That's actually really fun because you have all them hobbits that want to use food. This definitely lets us sacrifice them. Oh, sweet. We got Rosie Cotton of South Lane. I believe this was the girl that was this Samwise's girl. I believe. I might be wrong. Halfling Peasant. When Rosie Cotton of South Lane enters the battlefield, create a food token. Whenever you create a token, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosie. So that's kind of cool. She comes into play, you have that, sacrifice it. And if you have the other guy out, he can keep creating more tokens for you. That's cool. Peregrine Took. A Halfling Citizen. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. Sacrifice 3 food tokens to draw a card. So yeah, cool. Now we're getting all that hobbits and their halflings and food stuff. Sam, get breakfast ready for 9:30. We have another one there. We have the Miradoc Brandybuck. Whenever one or more halflings you control attacks a player, create a food token. It's also nice because the food tokens in general you can just pay to sacrifice to gain 3 life. So if you don't need them for something else, if nothing else, creating all these will constantly let you just gain life back. My dear old hobbits, you don't allow for the inquisitiveness of friends. I have known about the existence of the ring for years. Interesting. That's some cool lore. We have an alt art there for Peregrine Took. That's kind of neat. I would have thought that would just be like the main cast characters, but that's actually kind of neat. Oh, sweet. We got this. This is awesome. We have a Nazgul. 3 cost black, Wraith Knight. 1/2, Death Touch. Enter the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, put a 1/1 counter on each Wraith you control. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul. So, this is the ring race, which represent the nine men who are corrupted. You can actually have 9 in play, which is really cool, because normally you can have up to 4. The only other few cards you can have there, like some rat cards. What's also neat is they have 9 different artworks for this card. So if you have all 9, you can have all 9 different artworks. That's actually cool. I only have the one, unfortunately. Alright, our rare card is Ewing Fearless Knight. Cool, so we got another Human Knight card. When Ewing Fearless Knight enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls with greater power. Legendary creatures you control gain protection from each of that creature's colors till the end of turn. Am I not House of Eroy? Have I waited on Falcon Feet long enough? That's cool. She has haste. Exile target creature opponent controls with greater power. So get rid of a more powerful creature. The other legendary creatures can't be hurt by that color. That's awesome. Our last foil is Reprieve. 2 cost white. Return target spell to its owner's hand. Draw a card. White doesn't often have a way to bounce cards. That's pretty cool. As Fairman and Airwing stood, their hands met and clasped as though they did not know it. That's cool. And our last card of the game is another treasure of the game, of the video. And we're going to flip this over. We have Magic Minigame Booster Blitz. So they started adding these into some of the sections that are really fun. 2 players, 2 packs, 10 minutes. Best you're pulling a series of fast Magic games using only the cards in a single pack. Each player opens a pack and makes 4 face-down piles of 3 cards, each using the Magic cards inside. The players make their piles with the goal of winning a series of Magic games with these modified rules. Players have 5 life, have infinite mana, and cannot lose by drawing from an empty library. Randomly determine who goes first. Each player chooses which pile their opponent will use for each round. Then both players draw all 3 of their cards and play a game of Magic. When the player loses a game, they get to go first in the next game. First player to win 2 games wins the match. Okay, so each player gets a pack. Make 4 face-down piles of 3 cards. So that'd be 12 cards. So they're assuming that you're using a set booster as opposed to a draft pack. Because then your cards are kind of be themed together. That's actually kind of fun. Even, I don't know if I'd even be like, just in the different piles. I don't know, it's just like open up a pack and you have to play with that pack. That'd be kind of a fun way to do that too. Alright, I'm gonna pause quick and grab these land cards to see what we have. 1 sec. Alright, so I only have 5 lands. I do not have any forests apparently. I thought I did. Probably because they'll kind of look green. 2 of mine are foil. But what is neat though is we have 2 swamps. So I wonder if there's going to be... I didn't really look this up on the website too much, but I wonder if there is 2 copies of each kind of match the fact there was 2 lands of each. And then they could maybe make up most of Middle Earth with 10 total cards. So it's kind of neat. Although I'm gonna guess there's probably gonna be like little gaps in between some of these. I don't think they're gonna overlap. Now this again, if there was, that'd be cool to have borderless art cards of these. So like that way they could all kind of combine to make a map. That's definitely a neat thing. So you can see I got 2 different swamps. One has Mordor. Yeah, you can kind of see maybe how these overlap. Now that I kind of look at these. So, there's Mordor there, and there's Mordor right there. Oh yeah, see they're going to be different sizes. So there's the Black Gate in Mordor, and there's Mordor there. So yeah, so these won't form to fill a full map, because this is an enlarging version of this section there. But that's still pretty cool, because there's the White Mountains there right there, which would be part of the White Mountains there, but I don't know where they would necessarily link up at on the map. Like, because right there we have Emoth Hull and Neverglare, so that would be that section right in there. So these 2 would probably be closer to about the same size. There's Mordor on that side, and just beyond that, so this probably ends up something more like right there is how those kind of match up. But then this one kind of zooms in, so it's kind of interesting. Definitely neat. Then the last thing we just wanted to look at quick was we had this Saruman card with the other symbol. That is the commander symbol. So that's actually kind of neat. I think I've had that before in these special bundles, the fat packs, where you could get cards that were supposed to be exclusive to the commander set in these. So although he is a mythic rare, it's kind of mythic rare in a loose sense, because if he's in one of the commander sets, you buy a commander set, you have the same cards, and it's like a deck. But that's still definitely cool. It's the way I got this card without having to buy those extra packs. But although, if you're only going to get some of the rare cards out of it, that's also kind of a bummer. But that'll be cool. Alright, so that's what we had for Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle Earth. I may or may not buy more of these. They're a little bit more expensive than regular Magic the Gathering packs, so I have to kind of watch my budget on buying too many more of these. But hey, maybe if I get a ton of likes or comments on this video, maybe it might tempt me to go and buy another box of these. Or if you'd rather see draft packs instead, let me know. I can try and hunt some. Maybe I could buy a commander pack or 2. But if I have people that are enjoying watching these, it might, there's more reason for me to want to do these other than just for myself. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.